French President Emmanuel Macron is on course to win a second landslide victory, this time in parliamentary elections. A month ago, his party, La République En Marche, had not a single MP to its name. But as the first round of voting drew to a close, that looked set to change dramatically. Exit polls suggest that En Marche will take nearly a third of the vote in the first round, enough to propel most of its candidates through to the next stage. Closest rivals, the Republicans, are predicted to poll 21%, with the Socialists trailing miserably at 10%. En Marche needs a minimum of 289 National Assembly seats to push its programme through. Pollsters are predicting that it will win at least 390 seats in the second round next week. Reacting to the results, Prime Minister Edouard Philippe said, "France is back." For a month now, the President has been a symbol of confidence, drive and audacity, both in France and on the international stage. In the large abstentions seen this Sunday, I see the consequences of the standing down of certain political parties, which have been unable to regroup after losing the presidential election. I also see the effect of the demobilisation of a section of the electorate, for whom the election of the president represented the conclusion of the debate. With abstentions running at 50% in the first round, En Marche is taking nothing for granted, however, urging voters to turn out in droves next week.
The US First Lady and son Barron have moved into the White House some 5 months after Donald Trump became president. They made the unusual decision to stay behind in New York to allow the 11-year-old to finish the school term. Melania Trump appeared happy to make the move, despite the controversy surrounding the arrangement. Some praised the first couple's parenting, but others were shocked by the break with tradition. There's also been criticism of the cost to New Yorkers of securing Trump Tower while the pair remained there.
Visa-free travel for Ukrainians visiting the EU has arrived, and one mother is wasting no time in taking advantage of the new rules. Her 2-year-old son is disabled and has been receiving treatment in Europe. Now the family can avoid paperwork and long queues at embassies before travelling. Before, we had to prepare so many documents about your income, job certificates, and now we have no obstacles. If we need to go, we can just pack our things and leave. The State Border Guard of Ukraine said they expect a significant growth in the number of citizens visiting the EU. We expect an increase of 30% in passenger traffic, based on the number of biometric passports issued to Ukrainians, about 4 million passports. Ukrainians who hold an e-passport now have the right to visit most EU states for up to 90 days for tourism or business reasons, excluding the UK and Ireland. But the visa waiver does not give Ukrainians the right to work in the EU.
Obviously, after the horror and shock of the atrocity last week, there is still of deep sadness and sympathy for all of those who were affected by the activities on Saturday night. But at the same time, people are now really pulling together to take the practical steps needed to bring the market back to life.
E televidente, momento para outro espaço comercial, ora nós estou back a Deportes CBA.